for those of you that don't know, this is Vanilla Chip Roy, I guess. He's on the Faulkner Focus. It's difficult. I don't know why they would title it that, but whatever. Mayorkas has been impeached. Doesn't matter. It's not going to go anywhere in the Senate. Again, like, they just waited till like Al Green couldn't come back from the hospital. They don't care. They waited till there wasn't a quorum. Who cares? They couldn't even do it through a legit full meeting of the body. Meanwhile, they can't put this up for a vote. That's the hilarious part.
Republican Congressman Chip Roy at the...
Understand, they could bring a vote to the floor to impeach Mayorkas, but they couldn't bring a vote to the floor for the border bill.
Great state of Texas, member of the Budget, Rules, and Judiciary Committees is in focus now. Good to see you. First of all, the bill, as I mentioned, had so many more billions of dollars, 3 times the amount for Ukraine than what originally was supposed to go for border security. Where are we now in terms...
No. Okay, real quick, for those that are in the cheap seats, that includes you, Faulkner, and Chip Roy, the soy boy. We have an entire budget around the border. CPB has their own budget. Department of Homeland Security has their own budget. This would be supplemental. This would be on top of what's already being spent. This is in addition to the highest amount of money that's ever been spent on the border in our nation's history in the current budget.
In terms of it reaching the House?
Well, first of all, I think I might submit a bill pretty soon that will rename Texas to Ukraine. Then maybe this administration and even senators will focus on securing the border of the United States.
It might take that.
I mean, look, I've never seen the nursing home known as the United States Senate work harder than when it comes to spending the American people's money for foreign wars.
And it's weird. I'm sure they've never seen the House work so hard to scuttle what's effectively on a defense level chump change just to give Putin a fucking toehold. Our military budget is about $1 trillion, and yet you guys are that fucking hung up on spending on Ukraine because it's working, because Putin's getting his ass handed to him.
That's what's going on here. And by the way, is there anything more cynical than having Republicans sitting around defending their vote to send $60 billion to Ukraine than saying that will help our defense industrial base, that will help American businesses? Since when do we have economic development that is being driven by funding war?
You're kidding, right? Really? Really? Somebody want to tell him? Does he want to talk to anybody from Halliburton? Should we get someone from Halliburton on the phone? For anybody?
Overseas. That's what's happening in the U.S. Senate. Because anybody that's sane and sees what's happening at our southern border would know that you cannot fund foreign wars while our border is wide open and exposed to criminals and lawlessness and terrorists.
Well, apparently you can, because you guys you could have voted for all of it and you were afraid it would pass, so you didn't. Right? I mean, what's the fucking problem, right? What could it possibly be? Yeah.
That are coming across the border. We're still feeling it in Texas, even though, thanks to Governor Abbott and those that have been fighting down in Eagle Pass, most of the numbers are now
fighting down in Eagle Pass. Fighting down in what? Wait. Well, you think Sarah Palin and Ted Nugent are responsible for the numbers? Not fucking Mayorkas and Blinken and Biden talking to Mexico and arranging with them. That's telling them basically, hey guys, congratulations, you're our #1 trading partner right now. You know what's going to fuck that up and throw that to Canada and make them the through port for most of the shit that comes into the country? You fucking around with the border and the cartels controlling this. If you don't get that shit together, we can't trust what's coming through. If you're killing people by sending fentanyl over, we can't use you as our main docking and shipping area, and that's going to knock off your industrial base. So maybe get your shit together. And that's what they did. Hold on. This motherfucker.
Even though, thanks to Governor Abbott and those that have been fighting down in Eagle Pass.
No one's been fighting down in Eagle Pass. What the ever-loving fuck are you talking about?
Most of the numbers are now heading to Arizona and California. But
The numbers are going down there too, dummy.
This is an ongoing problem. You know, 7,000 crossed the other day. 139 of them were Chinese foreign nationals.
Across the entire southern border. 7,000 crossed. You know how we know that? Because we got them all. That's how we know. Every time these motherfuckers say a number, understand that that means we're counting, that means we're stopping, and that means we're processing. The only thing that makes these folks stay in the country longer than they're legally allowed to, if they're not legitimately here on asylum, is because they don't have anybody to process them. And by the time they get ready to pry them loose, you've got NGOs and people and locals going, this person's lived here for 4 fucking years. They work at the restaurant down the street. Why are you bothering them? Go get a criminal. And that's how people end up getting a toehold. Which is, by the way, how most of the cheap labor that is Texas operates.
That's where the priority of the American people is. That's where my priority is. And I think that is where the priority is for Speaker Mike Johnson.
Bullshit.
He was pretty clear yesterday.
Again, here's what I want to know. Let's say the bill doesn't have everything you want. But passing it will solve a lot of this problem, which you think is a danger. It's a crisis. People are dying. Fentanyl is murdering people. There are criminals and terrorists coming across the border. We got to shut this shit down. And they're not going to pass your bill. This one's better than the status quo. If you could stop, 1 out of 10 of the bad people that are coming through, what kind of lives are you saving? So clearly something's always better than nothing. So what excuse do you ever have not to go, we voted for it, we passed it, we want more. We think it's got to go further. Or are you afraid that this will actually solve it and then you'll look like I see. I think I stumbled on it. I think it's they're afraid that it's going to make them look like asshole. That's right.
Okay, that this abomination of a bill that came out of the Senate, that those 22 Republicans should not have voted for.
Abomination. Drama queen.
That bill will be dead when it comes to the House.
Real quickly, has there been a push to sit down with President Biden and talk to him about flipping the switch? And I know he doesn't want to hear Trump policies. Maybe you could name them.
Flipping the switch? What are we going to do, electrocute these people?
Something else, like little candies that work well. I don't know. But what about that? Because waiting for all of this sausage to be made is leaving that border open longer than it needs to be, and he could...
Hey, Harris, you're on to something. Just passing something is better than nothing. Progress is progress. Welcome to the fucking club. Ladies and gentlemen, a newly born incrementalist finally gets her wings. That's right. That's right.
Could take action.
Yeah, he could take action right now. He certainly could limit the flow enormously. It's not a...
They are. That's why the number's coming down, dumb fuck.
Quick fix that and the executive can just wave his wand and take care of it immediately. We need...
What was that again? Real quick. Hold on. Everybody gather around. What was that again, Chip Roy?
It's not a quick fix that and the executive can just wave his wand and take care of it immediately. We need...
I'm sorry. You run that by me one more time. One more time.
Yeah, he could take action right now. He certainly could limit the flow enormously. It's not a quick fix that and the executive can just wave his wand and take care of it immediately. We do need to pass laws to get...
Huh. So it isn't his fault. He can limit certain things, but obviously there's a limit to his power.
Give him tools or force him to the table and to give a hopefully future President Trump tools. But the bottom line is they don't have any interest in sitting down at the table. Their interest is the chaos created by wide open...
Asshole. Democrats and Republicans sat down in the Senate and crafted an actual fucking bill that if you brought it to the floor would pass. It would pass. It would pass with an enormous number of Republican votes. Fuck you, sit down.
Open borders. It is purposeful. It is being designed to flood the zone, to remake America.
All right, now we're just getting into the... You're really going to launch into the browning of America while you're talking to Harris Faulkner? That's where you're going to go, Chip Roy? They're remaking America by letting people in the country who aren't what? Little Chip Roys?
It's not just political. They want to remake America. They want to end Western civilization. They want to flood the zone with people from all over the world at a time when we have 50 million.
Again, in theory, and I'm trying to follow you on this one. In theory, aren't they ultimately flooding the zone, quote unquote, with people who want to live by Western values? Aren't they leaving the countries that are, the issue for you and coming here because they want to be a part of our constitutional life? They want to be free. That's why they come here. That's the entire purpose of it. Or do you think they're importing Latin American communism is the idea?
People who are for,
because they ain't. I'm just saying. I'm just saying that they ain't.
Born in the United States. They are doing this for a reason. It is crass. Frankly, my Democratic colleagues are now the colonizers. They're going around trying to force their will.
They're colonizing by through trolling for fish. It's reverse internal. It's like the hydrocolonic version of colonization. It's the colonization of I don't know what he's talking about.
And their beliefs on everybody around the world, including, for example, countries in Africa who dare to say that marriage is between one man and one woman.
Okay, dude, the nobody has a problem with African countries saying marriage is between one man and one woman. It's when they set people on fire for being gay we have a problem with. And also, we're not even invading those motherfuckers. We're just saying, all right, well, we're not going to sell you shit. You take your money elsewhere.
These Democrats are radicals. They want to remake our country.
How is it radical to not want to support a regime that chucks gays off of rooftops, for example? Good Lord.
And they're doing it right now at our southern border. Republicans need to lock arms.
All right, he's just going straight fucking great replacement theory. This motherfucker, he's like 2 inches away from just like holding up a tiki torch and saying the Jews will not replace us. Good Lord.
And stand up and defend the border instead of just preaching about the border and campaigning on it. They need to stand up and do something about it. And there's 22 Republicans who voted for that bad bill, abomination of a bill, should be ashamed of doing this to the American people, perpetuating open borders while funding the border security of Ukraine, Taiwan, and Israel.
We had border shit attached to it. You guys are the ones that pried it loose, motherfucker. It's a military supplemental. The border bill shouldn't even been part of it, but they had to do it because you motherfuckers weren't going to pass it otherwise.
Congressman, the impeachment of the man whose responsibility it was to implement the laws on the books with immigration. Republicans now are set to tee up a second vote now tonight, aiming to impeach Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. Which
apparently they did. It will have no meaning whatsoever.
A week ago, they first voted narrowly, and that failed. This time, they'll have an additional vote with House Majority Leader Steve Scalise back from cancer treatments, thank the good Lord. And former Affairs Committee Chair Mike McCall of Texas was on with me yesterday. Watch. Why can't you fire this man? Why didn't the Republicans get it done? Why didn't you?
Well, we're going to on Tuesday. Steve Scalise is coming back. I'll be a floor manager in the trial. This man is the architect of destruction, and he has caused the chaos knowingly, really by design, not by accident.
Well, it's Tuesday, and now it's Tuesday night. Tell me about this evening.
Yeah, well, number one, we got to get everybody into town. We've got this storm blowing up to the northeast. We got to make sure everybody comes into town so that we have the 200.
Yeah, there they are. They're the Republicans coming in or whatever. This is Eagle Pass, Texas. Are those all truckers?
16 boats that will be needed for us to get that done.
Notice how they never put the date. Could it be because they have its video from 2 years ago?
God bless Steve Scalise. You're exactly right. I fought cancer at MD Anderson. That's where Steve is fighting cancer. We're all praying for him. And I'm glad that he's coming back and he's going to stand up because he knows what we need.
Yeah, this is footage from 2 years ago.
To do. And it's not just political. This is important. Alejandro Mayorkas needs to be held accountable. He deserves to be the second cabinet secretary impeached because he has been endangering the American people while flagrantly violating his oath to defend the laws of the United States. And you know what? We're going to get those votes, whether it happens tonight or tomorrow.
Yeah, it's not going to go through the Senate. It doesn't matter.
We're going to get those votes because he needs to be impeached. And you know what? We will see what happens. But I want to give a shout out to my great team. They're the ones that put forward the first articulation of the reasons to impeach Alejandro Mayorkas in 2021.
How about this? Is there reason enough to impeach all of you motherfuckers because you had a border bill you wouldn't pass that would literally like make the standard legally more stringent for people crossing the border, and you didn't? You literally fought it even though it would have passed. You wouldn't bring it to a vote because it would pass. Is that? I mean, maybe Chip Roy needs to be impeached. Is that what he's saying? Because again, I don't know how he just said the president can't wave a magic wand. Certainly a cabinet secretary can't do it. So effectively, what? There's got to be a law passed. And who's stopping that law from getting passed that would actually pass if it was brought to the floor? Chip Roy, Mike Johnson, and the Freedom Caucus.
Almost 3 years ago. We made the case then. We knew it, and we are 9 months into this administration, and we've been making the case ever since.
Well, you've made
and I
it
hope
on
the
this
impeachment
program.
managers will do the job. Yeah.
Yeah, he's nothing if not repetitive, Harris.
Yes,
Yeah,
I have. We talked about it here.
Yep, we have. And that
And it's boring. Yeah.
that bit that you shared about your health, God bless you too.
Yeah.
I'm glad
Yeah.
you're doing well. All right, sir, we will talk to you on the flip side of a nighttime impeachment vote on the Secretary of Homeland Security. Thank you very much.
And it went through, and who cares? It's honestly, it's not going to do anything. It's another one of these situations where I'm like, there are some news stories that keep coming up, and I'm like, I gotta say, like, this is just like, it's fucking boring. Yeah, at no point is it going to turn into the removal of him. Now, is there a chance that after the vote, Mayorkas at some point says, I'm going to step down because I'm distracting from the issue that the president's trying to do, and maybe with somebody else in here, they could do this? Is possible? Maybe. But I feel like that'll just entrench them in more. And there might be an idea that he might have been close to doing this anyways. You know, that Mayorkas may have even thought about moving. No, I did not trim my tail. My hair is just higher up. No, I didn't. My hair is still the same length, basically. I trimmed the split ends last week. It's better. Anyways, so defend the Constitution. Your fucking oath is to the Constitution, not laws, lands, or lords. Yeah, but I mean, I get where you're going, but I also think that, you know, it's the law of the land. Yep. And yeah, anyways, so I think the chance, like, he might have stepped down after it was getting kind of murky over the last 6 months, but once they started the impeachment thing, then it became a thing about the administration, you know, kind of felt like they had to defend him, right? Yeah, I think Hillary Clinton would be a great replacement for Mayorkas. She'd be a lot harder on it than he would.